Okay. Yeah, if that's the position you want to take, cool. Take it. I'm not going to fight you. And they're like, what? What? You've changed. Be like, yeah, maybe.
We're back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast.
No one's letting you forget in the club. That is for fucking sure.
Are you in lots and lots of pain? How bad is the pain? Fuck you fucking asshat.
Having fun dancing in the floor.
Number one, why am I calling you? Number two, you ruined everything.
Oh, so good. Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast.
Ho, 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 bitches.
Happy Merry Holiday season.
Merry holidays.
Uh-huh.
Whatever you celebrate.
Whatever you celebrate, we're wishing you good cheer.
Oh my god, that sounds so lame. We're so fucking pathetic. Oh my god. The energy behind that was like 2 out of 10. We gotta pick this up. We gotta pick it up.
Don't worry, we're getting there with all the laughter.
I'm joking.
We're just kidding. We love you. And we are
you.
obsessed. And we legitimately do want you to have a great fucking holiday season. Like,
Totally.
we're not humbugs over here.
No, we just got off like a 2-hour coaching call, and we've got a nice strategy session after this for our next club opening, and so we're like right in the pocket there. And she's like, "How's it going?" I'm like, "I'm good. I just kind of want to eat my muffin right now." She's like, "Yeah, I kind of want to just do this too." And we're like, "Well, this is what commitment
Yes.
looks like."
100%.
This
100%.
looks, just fine that I'm wrapped in a blankie that nobody can see, and got a muffin beside my desk that I'm wanting to crush.
I have a bowl of blueberries and my water, and good to go. And yeah, I think this is a very important little distinction about showing up and being committed. And sometimes in life, that's just what has to get done. And it's all right. And especially during this season, like, it's so easy to be like, oh, I just want to check out. And unfortunately, as an entrepreneur, it's not really, a luxury that we sometimes have to check out in the ways that, if I had a 9 to 5, I would probably get like, a week off? I don't even know. How does that work?
No, it's actually pretty fucking lame. Well, at least when I was in there thing, it was like, you have to come in this day. I'm like, nobody's fucking in the office. Like, everyone's dicking around. And there'd be like the official holidays. Depends where you work. Depends where you work. But when I was in corporate, there was a lot of like, okay, so, the 25th is off, and 26th, and I don't know, fucking first. But like, it was choppy, and so.
That's it?
Well, technically, yeah, I mean, again, a lot of nuance. It depends where you work. Your employers might have very different things. But I think traditionally it's sort of like the actual main quote-unquote holidays. So I remember being like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Everyone is just like in the office, blasted off fucking eggnog, bitching about fucking how Aunt Sally's fucking chin hair is going to set off Grandpa fucking Joe Blow, and, how annoying they are and how tired they are, and look at the weather. And I was like, oh my god,
Shoot.
I mean, when I worked in corporate, I got sick. It was like not a vibe for me. It's not a vibe. I couldn't handle it. I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Are these really the conversations we're having? This is illegal.
I don't think I could handle it. Like, just the fluorescent lighting alone, I think would do me in. But then, yeah, like the conversations, and like, I already can't handle a lot of that on the best of time, which is perfect, for what we're talking about today, because around the holidays, you probably end up being around people that you wouldn't normally be around. And that can be really fucking weird and hard and annoying, and it can bring up all sorts of stuff. I know for a lot of people, like, there's this sense of like obligation that ends up happening with the holidays, instead of it being like merry and bright. It's like this really heavy, dense, like, oh, I fucking have this obligation to go do this thing. There's all these expectations around me, and I'm not getting to like powerfully create my holiday Christmas experience the way that I really want. And then there's this like conflict internally, and no one benefits from that. Like, so we really want to have a little jam today about that, and creating powerfully, and potentially why you might need some boundaries during the holidays.
Sounds conversation.
Yeah,
I'm
just
joking.
a light conversation this afternoon.
Nice light conversation. But it's so true. There's so much pressure, expectation, obligation, I think, woven into and laced into holiday seasons in general. I think a lot of holiday seasons, I know there's so much opportunity for disappointment.
Oh, yeah. So much.
So much opportunity for like autopilot, unconscious. This is like so often where a lot of people's unconscious shit comes up. I find there's a lot of this attitude around like, oh, just get me through the holidays. Kind of just like bad attitude shit, which makes sense. And obviously there's a lot of, but it's just, you're like you said, it's power packed usually for a lot of people, filled with unhealed wounds and a lot of unpressed trauma and a lot of expectations and
throw them all in a room together.
You shoulds. And I mean, fuck. And I think that what's been really cool is over the years, I really bought into that for a long time. And more recently, more and more myself, my family has been in this place of like making it the holidays attainable, sustainable, and like what actually really fucking matters at the end of the day, right? Like if you show up to the perfect holiday event, but you look perfect, you are, you're on whatever it is, but you're underneath it stressed out and chaotic and
your energy's
resentful.
saying fuck you.
Yeah, your energy's saying fuck you. It's like who wins from that, right? Like there's really no winning from anybody's perspective. So I've been really mindful around allowing Christmas, or like for me, I celebrate Christmas, but allowing Christmas and this holidays to be what I want to make of it, while still honoring people's, still showing up, but really taking care of myself a lot more and being responsible for my energy that I enter into things. And we're going to talk a lot about this on the mini training. I guess it would have happened by the time this comes out. It probably would have happened, maybe.
No, it'll be published technically. I guess it depends when you listen to it.
Sure.
But it will be published before the mini training, so you can hop into that if you want to.
Yeah, well, if you're hearing this, then this might be a sign. But we're doing a mini training Wednesday morning, December 18th at 10 a.m. PST. So viewers, there's still time, hop in. Really low cost, high value, incredible trainings that Kelsey and I do, and they're just on one specific topic, so give you actionable things to take away. You can also purchase the replay if you're listening to this afterwards, but we're really going to be diving into getting really clean around our own energy, what we bring into the holidays, and how to create a completely different outcome. Because we can all like clockwork usually. Like if I were to say to you, okay, let's predict if everyone shows up in their normal energy, their usual energy, their personalities, you can probably like verbatim look at what's going to be created.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Each person's going to do this. What's going to happen? This person will do this, and then this will be this, and then, right? And then I'll end up this, and then I'll be tired, and I'll be annoyed, and then I'll enter the new year. And like you can kind of map it out. I mean, it's clockwork, right? So we are giving you essentially like a science experiment on how to create like a pretty much guaranteed different outcome this holiday season. And I think that's cool because there's nothing sexier and spicier than entering, not waiting until the new year to change and transform. That old age idea of like, okay, well in January I'll do it, Sure. And it's like, well, how about you do it now? How about you start practicing, and how about you cross the finish line of 2024 in a really powerful way? Let's not tap out. Let's actually see, because we're entering 2025 with the understanding of how incredibly powerful we are, and we can become these conscious creators and see a different outcome instantly, instant feedback through our own energy shift. It gets really exciting. We're entering with a ton of powerful momentum, which is what we're setting you up for in this mini training.
Fuck yeah. I can't wait.
And this podcast. I mean, the podcast is going to be, we're going to be sharing obviously some things in here, but if you really want to dive deeper into this and you're up for the game of like, okay, then get in on the replay.
Let's see how good it can get.
See how fucking good it can get. Yeah, because we don't want to, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So we don't want to keep recreating the same stuff. And I think that oftentimes people feel very victim to their lives, victim to their circumstances, and they forget, and they play the blame game. If only this person was different, or if only this circumstance was different. Oh, my family doesn't do this. It doesn't matter what your circumstances or situation, you can create a different outcome. And it comes down to you and your energy and how you take care of yourself entering the holiday season, who you are in interaction with them. We'll give you tips and tools on how to manage your energy and little tiny micro like nervous system resets so that you're able to hold capacity for conversations longer, for stimulus longer, for money conversations longer, for all that kind of stuff. So again, we're not like getting into a collapse and then trying to rebuild into, early stages of 2025. We're heading off with a fucking bang.
I love that. Oh, did you just hear that bang outside? There's just like this massive bang outside.
Thank you, Uni.
Oh, I love when that happens. And it's the bang, what that's from? They're literally taking out the trash.
Come on.
As if that is not like the most perfect metaphor. Like, you got to take out the fucking trash if you want to create powerfully in the new year. And so, yeah, join us for the mini training. We would love to have you. And, today, like, I think it's just so important to discuss, like, why we do need boundaries at Christmas time and during the holidays. And you alluded to this already of, like, there's so many uncommunicated expectations flying around. And everyone, like, this is the crazy part, everyone in a family system has their idea of how Christmas should go. And then no one's talking about it.
Just like sex, money, and power.
Exactly. And then we're just like hoping and wishing and praying for the best that everyone will mind read us. Meanwhile, like, we don't think that we need to mind read anybody else. Like, it's literally just like all about me. It can be very narcissistic, actually. Of like, everyone is like in their own little narcissism bubble of like, this is how I want Christmas to be. And then no one's communicating this. And so bad news bears, guys, like, none of it happens. Like, no one's vision is actually actualized because no one is being a powerful, conscious creator. And there's a lot of reactivity that can happen in the holidays. Like, I react to the thing happening versus being proactive and creating or like opening a conversation in advance. Like, literally do not wait until you're at Christmas fucking dinner to set the boundaries. You set them in advance. I remember saying this to a client years ago. She got so mad at me. She was like, what do you mean? I'm like, you got to set the boundary before you even enter the arena. So you set the stage. You set the tone before your parents come to visit or your extended family comes to visit or you go to visit them. Like, you lay it out, like, what you are and are not available for. And you say that in advance and then you let them choose. It's a lot like dating. If you withhold the things that are true for you, and then, you wrangle them into a relationship, that's not going to feel good for you because you know that you fucking lied. And it's not going to feel good for them because they're going to feel that there's something that is not being disclosed and they don't really know what it is. And they're like walking through this minefield and like, who knows when we're going to set off a landmine.
Is that catfishing or bait and switch or what is that one called?
Well, I think it'd be more like, maybe a bit of both, actually, because like there's this pretending of like, I'm going to give you the image of what I think is going to enroll you, and then I'm going, like, once I get comfortable, then I'm going to switch it up, and then I'm going to tell you what's really true. But you're already locked in, so it's harder for you to leave.
Or I'll just never tell you, and you'll figure it out down the road when I manipulate
punish
you,
you.
Punish you and shadow on you.
But that's what happens in family systems over Christmas. Like, no one's talking about this shit. And then they're literally punishing and projecting. And, like, it turns into this mudslinging, like, dumpster fire where no one's happy. People are fighting. Like, all of the, like, goodness that's available, like, in this holiday season where it's supposed to be about generosity and kindness and, like, being good to each other. It's literally the opposite.
It's about presents and alcohol and getting shit-faced and punishing people and projecting all our unhealed childhood trauma onto anyone who comes into our field, including the coffee shop barista.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, when you don't deal with shit all year round, it comes up for a reckoning. at Christmas.
I want to put the Jaws song on so bad. If we had a sound engineer, this is when we'd be like,
Oh, yeah.
and the closer you get to the holidays, and fucking all your good girl people pleasing fucking tendencies throughout the year gets you into one big shitstorm, and then you fucking blow up, and you know.
Yeah. And listen, people don't want to do that upfront work because it's uncomfortable. But it's not as uncomfortable as like going through the shitstorm of not dealing with it and not setting a proper container. Mm-hmm. Like, I would rather have the uncomfortable conversation up front than like walk into a situation where it is just chaos and carnage. And like that dysregulates me way more than having a proactive conversation. And you're going to have conversations about money, budgets, like what you're available for, what you're not available for, like quality time, how much time, the expectations around how you're spending your time. Like, these are all areas that really fuck people up a lot in the holidays, because again, like, one person has an idea that we're going to spend all of our time together, and then the other person is like, I will spend like a little bit of time with you, but I also like want this time for myself. And then no one communicates that, and it becomes this mess where neither people get their needs met, and you potentially like repel each other relationally, and like maybe even fracture the connection. Mm-hmm. And then there's just more cleanup to do in the new year. And like, I don't know about you, Christine, but like that is not how I like to spend my time just in general, but I definitely don't want to imprint the new year with that type of energy, or like, oh, we're playing like catch up, we're playing like clean up, we're like trying to make amends here, when we could have prevented this 20 steps back by just communicating our expectations. Like, it's one of my favorite things to tell people is, oh wow.
Bless me.
Bless you.
You know when you feel something coming and you're like, no, don't do it. Just wait until
don't do it.
How do I mute myself? And then it's like,
I don't know how.
Sorry, team.
That's okay. But it's like one of those things where now I lost my train of thought. What was I even saying?
Fuck. Communicating unspoken expectations.
Oh yeah. Like, so like a lot of the personal development rhetoric is like expectations are bad. And I don't personally subscribe to that. Like, nice try, like trying to get rid of expectations is never going to happen. So you may as well work with them. And it's more so when the communications are uncommunicated, or when the expectations are uncommunicated, that's when they become problematic. But when you communicate them and you bring it out in the open, then it becomes a collaborative experience. Relationships are collaborations. And just most people don't know how to collaborate well. And part of the collaboration is you have to fucking reveal what's true for you. Like, this is my expectation. This is what I want to have happen. What do you want to have happen? What's your expectation? Throw it in the mix, and then you co-create something that works for you and for them. Like, you literally make up a win-win. But you can't make a win-win if you don't know what they want, they don't know what you want, and we're all just fucking playing pretend. And then you throw in like more people, like that's already enough in a 2-person system. But families are often more than 2 people systems. So then you have every single person in the family system doing this. Like, that's going to get messy really fucking fast. Mm-hmm. So talk about it in advance. You still have time. Like, there's still a week before Christmas. You can still set those expectations. You can still declare your boundaries and like what's okay for you and what's not okay for you. For me, I need to have boundaries around like my alone time. If I don't get alone time every day, I'm not a fun person to be around. I don't need a lot of it, but I need at least an hour or 2 to just be in my own energy. And so whether I take that in the morning, I take that at night, or I take that throughout the day, like I'm pretty flexible with when that happens, but it does need to happen. And then I also have boundaries around like movement and exercise, and like that's going to be prioritized on a daily basis, and like the types of food that I'm going to eat. Like I'm not down with being pressured into eating shit that I don't want to eat and that's going to make my stomach hurt. like not doing it. So I have to have those conversations in advance so that people aren't surprised when I need to like go to the gym, or surprised when I'm like, actually, I'm doing my hour of alone time, or no, thank you, I don't want your Jello salad or whatever the fuck is being offered at dinner. Like, you know, and so it's not a shock to the system, and it allows it to be a little bit more of a smooth interaction and a smooth experience for everybody involved. But you got to talk about it.
So many times you were talking, I was thinking of Christmas Vacation. National Lampoons.
Yeah, it makes for great movies when people don't discuss this stuff because it's so much drama.
Totally. It's so much drama. Yeah. Well, and also I just want to speak to the fact that, like, you might be listening and be like, yeah, that sounds great, and not doing it.
Yep, that tracks.
I just want to name that. And also, like, if that's what you're thinking, like, yeah, cool, I'll do it next year. Just understanding that this stuff isn't easy, especially if you have a long history of unspoken about, unprocessed family drama. I know this happens a lot with sisterhood wounds. It comes with siblings. There's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of stuff from like, well, when we grew up, X, Y, Z, or right, like there's a lot of baggage from the past that hasn't been processed, which gets carried forward into all these events and things like that.
Totally.
I think we can guard our heart a lot. I think we can close off to connection a lot. And so, again, we're going to be teaching on this in the mini training, but just how we don't realize how much we're co-creating everything in life. We're a 50% co-creator. So it's like we're co-creating with other people, and the energy we bring to certain things is our responsibility to clean up our side of the street, regardless if the other person does the work or not. Because it's about us creating safety for ourselves, us creating an enjoyable experience, and ultimately that is up to us, not our circumstances. So every time we go in expecting something, I know I did a lot of this, like high expectations for things to be a certain way or to get a certain gift but then I hadn't communicated that. I hadn't set those expectations. I hadn't been clear. And
if
so
he really loved me, he would know.
Or he would have gotten me this, or they would have X, Y, Z. And I think that was a big humbling experience to take responsibility for that, and also just to name that this work is not super easy, because you have a lot of data in your nervous system, a lot of data in your history where you've shown up in a certain way. And so we don't want you to blow your load and collapse in going from like 0 to 100. And also that sometimes when that happens, if somebody's had no boundaries and had no expectations or clarified anything, sometimes I see this a lot where people go from like, okay, well, I'm a boundary bitch now. And then they go,
fuck
and it's
you.
like, fuck you. And it's a way for them to say like, well, you can't do this and you can't do this. And it's actually, again, another way to disconnect from connection. It's another way to just have these like hard, like armored walls with barbed wire wrapped around them to be like, it's just a boundary. And it's like, well,
it's actually not a boundary, but
that's actually not a boundary. Totally. There's guys where it doesn't feel very flexible.
That's a demand.
Does it feel like a tantrum slash
that's
demand?
punitive.
Totally. So I think just like starting with getting really clear for yourself around what do you need, not even necessarily to thrive, because that could be one question of like, what do I need to thrive during this holidays, if that's an access point for you around like, if I were to have a great holiday season and the best outcome, what would that look like, or how can I thrive this Christmas? But if that feels like too much or holiday season for you, just asking yourself, what would even make it a little bit less sucky, or what would make it a little bit better, or what would make it a little more neutral, and what can you communicate, even if it's really small, around like, you might, like Kelsey, you have amazing, you communicate in such a great way, you have a lot of clarity, and you know yourself well. And so I think a lot of people don't even know what they need. I know for a long time I didn't know what I needed. I was like, I don't fucking know what I need. I just know I don't need this. This is pissing me off.
Well, and that's the access point to figuring out what you need.
Totally.
Like noticing what doesn't work for you.
Yes.
And your need is the exact opposite of the thing that's not working for you.
Totally. So like maybe you pick one thing this holiday season where you're like, okay, I know that I get really overwhelmed when there's a lot of stimulus. So I'm going to let everybody know that I've gotten, maybe you don't even aren't at a point where you can be totally honest. Maybe you just say you have a call for 30 minutes that you need to go do, or whatever you need to do to give yourself that time and space, but helping create. I actually just did a mini on the Daily Coaching Club in our private podcast feed. I just did a little riff today on called Pockets of Presence, and just talking about how it's so often we're waiting for circumstances to change and things to be different, to feel present, to feel more calm or relaxed. And these are things we need to create intentionally. And so even if it is a micro pocket of presence throughout your holiday season, it's really important, even if it's like a 30-second, or maybe you're like, okay, every time I go to the washroom, I'm going to change nothing. The holidays are going to be exactly the same. But what I have capacity for is every time I go to the washroom, I'm going to like put my hand on my chest. I'm going to take 3 deep breaths, and I'm going to inhale for 4 and hold for 5 and exhale for 8. Right? Or I'm just going to close my eyes and, just be in the bathroom for 30 seconds to a minute longer. And if somebody thinks I'm having gastrointestinal problems, that's on them. I don't really give a fuck. Right? Like whatever is...
Why I think I'm beating one off in the bathroom.
Totally.
Here.
Like, what are you doing? But I think just creating little, like not having to have things change. And I think this is a really important thing to factor into the new year as well. This is a really good attitude, is creating it yourself, seeing how powerful you are to create pockets of presence, to create more connection, because a lot of thinking is very black and white. It's very like, I'm all in or I'm out. I either need to have 8,000 boundaries in place, or I, can't see my family. And sometimes we go to these extremes, and that you see this a lot in January, especially, I owned a gym for 8 years. So you'd see this in the fitness industry, but people being like, okay, well, I'm either all in, I'm eating, working out 6 days a week and eating egg whites and grapefruits, or I'm just off the rails, fucking crushing eggnog and gingerbread. And it's like, have both, you can have balance. And can you create, can you do squats for 20 seconds once a day? And then the next day you're like, okay, I did 20 seconds. I'm going to do 30 and then 3 push-ups. Okay. Yeah. Next day, you do maybe 45 seconds and then you do 5 push-ups. So it's like building your capacity in a really sustainable way that's not blowing out your nervous system. Because again, we talk about this a lot in the club, but we have a lot of protective parts and a lot of unconscious agendas and hidden things that we get out of acting a certain way. And so when we can, again, that's deeper work to get clean on, so we can actually really change and transform. But these are really helpful little things to think about as you enter the holidays, and very attainable and sustainable things that you can implement immediately that will have you seeing different changes. And again, like I said in the mini training, we're going to go into this in a much deeper way, give you a lot more things to think about. But you really do, we just want to send the message across that you do have a lot of power. And you can create a completely different outcome if you so choose. But it does require us to show up in a different way. Even if the other person, a lot of people say, like, well, they need to show up in another way. They don't. They actually don't. Right? We talked about this today in our coaching call as well. Like, if you think of like you and let's say your brother or your sister who you just can't get along, it's like, you guys show up, one tangos, the other one tangos, right? Like you show up, you're like, okay, we're tangoing. You get the same outcome. You guys fucking tango. That's the unconscious program. If you come in with intention and you come up to the dance floor and they're like, okay, here you go. Let's tango. It's another Christmas. Here we go. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to cha-cha today. You literally can't, you literally cannot get the same outcome, right? Like one person cha-chaing, one person's tangoing, instantly there's a shift, right? You can't have the same result. So I think we do have to remember and decide that we are really capable. We can absolutely change our outside circumstances, even if the other person changes not at all. Yeah. I think it's important to remember.
Well, and that also applies in conflict too, right? Like conflict only gets going when both parties agree to do the conflict dance.
Yes.
So if a person over Christmas is like baiting you into like into a fight, into like a traditional like squabble that you have, and you're like, you know what? No. I'm just a no. Like, you're gonna watch them short circuit. They're not gonna know what to fucking do with that. But as you say, like, it immediately puts it on a new trajectory. Like, if you change the steps that you would normally take and you do something different, well, you inevitably create a whole new, at least, thread of possibility. And if you walk away from someone who is saying rude things, or, you like this happens all the time where you have like opposing views at the dinner table, and like you don't have to attend every battle that you're invited to.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't. Like, and the part of you that wants to duke it out and dominate, like that's not the truest self anyway. Like that's just a part of you that wants to be superior, wants to be right, wants to be good. And like if you kind of get into those ego battles with other people, like you're not creating true connection anyway. Mm-mm. So like what if you could just let them fucking win? Like if they want to like have the normal fight about politics or religion or whatever the fuck topic it is that gets everyone squirrely whirly, what if you just let them have it? Like what would happen then? Like it literally kills the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And like I learned this from Mark Groves, but like one of his favorite things to say, like especially in conflict, is like, yeah, I can see some truth in that. The second you say that, it disarms them immediately. And be like, oh, that's an interesting perspective. And like you have to say it without a charge. Be like, oh yeah, that's interesting. Like if you say it with a fucking attitude, then you're still playing the same dance. Okay. But like if you're like, interesting, I hadn't thought about that. Cool, thanks for sharing. They're expecting you to go to battle with them. Yes. They're expecting you to fight them. And when you don't, they have nothing interesting to talk about anymore. And what ends up happening is you force the conversation to evolve. You force the connection to evolve. Because I think people fight about things like politics and religion at these like family gatherings because they don't actually want to have the more intimate, connected conversations and really get to know each other. Mm-hmm. It's a nice front. It's a way for us to stay in like our ego shield, and no one will ever really know the truth about me behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And so when you refuse to go into those battles, then you create, and sometimes it's really uncomfortable. Like the silence will get uncomfortable, and you'll watch people, and all of their conditioning comes up, and like who's the fixer of the group and who's like the checkout, and like there's all these different roles that everyone's going to play in keeping the dysfunction running. So if you just like sit back with your popcorn and fucking watch the show, even that alone will create a better experience because you're not tangled in the web. You're watching this thing happening outside of you, and you're like, wow, I can't believe I used to like get so worked up about this. But like, I'm just going to let them have it. I'm going to let them duke it out. I don't need to participate in that. That's not a good use of my creative energy. That's not a good use of my life force. Like that's okay. Yeah. If that's the position you want to take, cool. Take it. I'm not going to fight you. And they're like, what? You've changed. Be like, yeah, maybe. And like, and then you'll see like, all of their strategies to try and bait you back into the dance. And if you're prepared for it, then you can be like, oh yeah, I have changed. Thanks for noticing. I appreciate that. Like, so like, how's the weather in, Idaho? Like you can change the topic and be like, yeah, I have changed. And that's it. You don't have to fight it. Like you can just roll with it. And if we get out of this bind of like, I need to fight to be right, which is, I'd say probably about what 90% of holiday fights are about anyway, is like people just wanting to be right and avoid being wrong. Mm-hmm. And so if you can surrender to the fact and like take on like that spicy spot of like, okay, well maybe I am wrong, or I don't need to be right. And maybe you need to make me wrong. Okay. I'm going to let you have it. I'm going to let you do what you need to do. I know it doesn't mean anything about me. I know that that's not true about me. I don't need to defend myself. I don't need to prove myself. So I'm just going to sit here and watch the fucking show. Merry Christmas, everybody, and a happy fucking New Year.
Oh my God. This is kind of reminding me a little bit of Tequila Talks. Just last Saturday Kelsey and I rolled out the red carpet on our brand new segment, Tequila Talks, for Club Unhinged, which is very exciting. If you missed it, you fucking missed a party. Basically, the premise is that once a month, Kelsey and I, we're starting it on Zoom online, but our vision is to bring this to life in person at different venues across the state of North America, and to basically, so we hop on. We're going to be live podcasting. We come shoot the shit with you at first. Kelsey and I will each take a shot of tequila. Very nice tequila, by the way. We had our first sponsor, which was amazing. We were shooting some Don Julio 70, and so we shot that, and then you should have fucking watched the carnage of us trying to make a margarita. It was out. It took us like
out of
so
control.
long. We didn't have ice. We didn't have the proper. We were just. It was
no
like,
shaker.
We didn't know the ingredients. We were shaking it in a fucking water bottle. We didn't. Anyways. So that was comical, but basically we shoot the shit, we shoot tequila, we chat with you, we're answering your questions, and then basically we have one theme, one topic. This was Huck to a Girl versus Taylor Swift, and power, and the rise and fall of power and how it can crumble without the strong foundation. So we riffed on that. But all this to say is just that this reminds me, what we're talking about right now is the willingness to hold discomfort and the willingness to be misunderstood. And we talked a lot about this on Tequila Talks, because, you and I were talking about how this had been a dream and vision of ours, but we knew there would be probably kickback, backlash. I'm a mom. People probably say like, oh, she's an alcoholic, whatever, and our decisions. And we shared a lot of stories from our vaults. One of the questions from one of the live listeners was asking us about our most unhinged stories of us on tequila. And, you shared a sex story. I shared a story about me and being shit-faced in Mexico and like army crawling, getting a fight at Coco Bongo. And like, it's just with a goat. Like, it was just like, it was, if you're not intrigued, it'll be out on Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
Yeah. That's our gift to you, is our fucking
Merry
carnage.
Christmas.
Merry ho ho. But anyways, we did talk about, this is a vulnerable spot for us, because we are doing something from our hearts, and it's something that's fun and different, and not a lot of people are doing this. And so, we were talking about how we've had to create the foundation to be really unshakable, and we're not bulletproof. That's not what we're saying, but we are saying that we've created more tolerance to be misunderstood.
Yes.
We've created more tolerance in our nervous system to have people not understand who we are, what we do, what we're about. But we have to have a degree of that. And that's like your families as well. People might not understand you or your choices or why you're doing things. But ultimately they're there to protect the potency and the authenticity of who you are. Right. So I think it's just important that being okay, the more we can create tolerance for people to not agree with us or understand us without needing to battle or, like you said, or fight or justify, the sweeter life gets. Yes. And, that does sometimes mean connections dissipating a little bit, or reconforming, or having different, looking a bit differently. And change is hard. It's, it's, most people avoid change like the plague. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to go in and piss people off. We don't want to have that. And when you think of family and your nervous system, it's like the deepest survival. Like, your family is what you needed. It's your quote unquote tribe, or, it's like what you, it is the most important thing to your nervous system. So oftentimes rocking the boat or saying something that you wouldn't usually say, there's this deep visceral fear, and it's a real thing. And that's what I was saying earlier. It doesn't have to be this like massive thing. It's like, what's one micro decision, one micro choice, one micro, if I were to be more authentically me just by 5% this Christmas, or 10%, or to lay one's tiny loving boundary for myself, what would that look like, right? So not having to take on these big massive changes, but just even have these smaller, what the fuck, why are there so many goddamn notifications?
I don't know.
It's so annoying. I swear I'm on Do Not Disturb, but
I'm not hearing them, by the way.
Oh, you know what's so funny is that just came through, and we talked about how we had to go literally went to like finish the podcast at this. That's so fucking weird. That caught my attention. I'm like, okay, it's the universe being like, and your time is up, bitches.
Time.
Time. But so our big thing that we offer in the club is for in Club Unhinged is all of these nervous system friendly ways to transform and make decisions and to create powerfully. And this is, again, we obviously are talking about this as well. It's just one way for you to start to see little micro wins, to have successes, because those compound, and that's where quantum leaps are born from. That's where identity shifts are, born from. And when you shift your energy and you shift your identity, I mean, there's no limit to your
Now
expansion.
We're cooking with gas.
Now we are cooking with gas. We're in the car, we're in the Ferrari, and we don't have the gas and the brake going the whole time. We've got the gas going, and we are like on a mission. So
Love it. So good.
So juicy.
So juicy. Well, we're going to wrap it there because we got to head to a meeting, and we love you. Join us in the mini training if it's already happened. Get the replay, and we will be back. Well, yeah, there will be an episode next week. Yeah. Our Tequila Talks episode. So you better tune into that on Christmas Day if you're looking for some family fun. That's probably not family friendly for anyone under 18.
Definitely not a lot of.
But in the middle of the afternoon, when you have nothing better to do between all the presents and the dinner, and you want some entertainment, throw that episode on, and we will keep you wildly entertained.
Yes, and also give the gift of transformation this year. Like, you could give, what better gift than gifting somebody the Daily Coaching Club subscription, right? Or like a mini training, or one of our masterclass bundles, or you know what I mean, or get on the wait list for the club when the doors open. Like, I know for me, I have so much fucking trinkety shit. I have so much stuff. I'm like, I don't even need this. I did not need another pair of this. So like, why not, right? The Daily Coaching Club private podcast feed will be, the rates are going up in the new year. So it's a great time to get in. If you lock in your rate, or you gift that to somebody, then you are in that grandfathered founders rate with us. So it's like next level, it's $30 for 30 days. So it's $30 a month. As of right now, there's no minimum commitment. Again, that could change, but as of right now, there isn't. So you can lock it in. You can go month to month if you want, stay forever, but it's costing you $30. And sometimes when I hear low cost things, I think of like low value. This is like the feedback. You're getting a daily coaching in your ear from Kelsey or I. So every day, Kelsey or I will show up, and you'll get it delivered right to your inbox. And it's a 2 to 10 minute audio delivered via private podcast feed. So just like you're listening right now, if you're on Spotify or Apple or one of those platforms, it automatically shows up in your feed. You get an email as well to remind you, and you hit play, and you have like, takeaways, you have mini processes, exercises, things to think about, perspective shifts, and the feedback is incredible. We are loving this so much. So give the gift to yourself or to somebody else. There's like no better, I personally am totally biased, but I don't think there's any other gift that's better than that.
I don't think so either. So we'll link that in the show notes. Go get it. And we love you, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Bye.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
All in all, we want to say thank you for being here. We love and appreciate you so much. And if you liked today, give us a 5-star rating, and we'll see you next week.
Share it. If you know somebody who needs this in their life, share this shit. Abundance goes round and round. We love you.
We love you. Bye.